Hello, Internet. Phil Eats here, Airheads only. I wanted to make a video about how like the buying process and all that stuff for buying a Uromastyx works for me. And I wanted to make it because I think it was just it's a lot of different questions and there's some cool stuff to cover. It also has a little bit of info about ornate Uromastyx and other Euros in particular, so it's just be good extra bit of information. So, it's basically as follows. There's two ways that folks can buy a Uromastyx from me. The first is, just buying an animal, a specific animal that I post. Usually these are sexed animals. Usually they've got a little bit of size on them. And those tend to be a little bit later on in the year because it takes a little while for Uromastyx to reach a size where they're sexable and a size where they, you can really be sure about kind of where they're headed. So that is usually going to take place in the late summer, early fall, and then depending on just how long supplies last, it's going to go into, usually through winter, but it just depends on how quickly stuff sells. That's one way to buy. The other way is to buy an unsexed hatchling. So almost all species of Euros are going to be not sexable accurately until it depends on the individual and the species, but it's going to range anywhere from 3 or 4 months up until 8-9 months to be 100% sure about what you have. And because of the demand and the numbers, most of the time what I have is unsexed babies to sell. And they're great. They're super chill. They're super tame. I've got some examples here just to kind of share with everybody. This little tub of babies that hatched this year. So I'm going to turn the camera down a little bit while I talk about them. Let me see how this is going to work. This might work. I'm not sure. We'll see. So this is a little clutch of 2023 or 24 rather ornate Uromastyx. These all hatched here this season. Super nice, chill little guys. Awesome. And so there's a few things to note about these guys. One is that they're not sexable yet, and people will often say, hey, I'd like to get one that's blue or one that's green, or they'll ask to buy an animal from a specific male or pairing that I've just happened to post online. And while that's fine, I don't mind offering people the option to buy from a specific pairing. It's really important to note that it's not really possible to know from either the parentage or from the color that they're displaying now exactly how they're going to look as an adult. So no one knows, you can't tell how, just because you have a blue adult or a green adult doesn't mean that their babies are going to be blue or green, because ornates are somewhat polymorphic. So, all of these babies, even though they come from a blue father, some will be blue, some will be green, and some will be bicolor. And there's no way to know when they're this young. Okay, so that's really worth it to know. And I do have a lot of unrelated groups of animals, so I am able to offer people unrelated groups of babies. That's worth knowing too. I also insist generally with little babies like this, I insist on picking the animal for you. And the reason I don't let people just pick is for a few reasons. One is these guys change from light to dark based on how excited or how hot they get during the day. And so it's not possible really to keep track of them. And especially not just because of how much they change, but because I have a lot. So this is one of many clutches that I've got this season. And so to be able to take individual pictures and post them all and have it all, there's just too many of them, and it's not really worth trying to offer all of that. So but there's other reasons that I insist on picking for customers as well. Most of the time, as I mentioned before, people have a specific desire. They're looking for a specific kind of animal, right? They either want to try for a male, try for a female. And so it's better if I pick, because I know what I'm looking for, and most newer folks don't know exactly what they're looking for in terms of sexing and stuff like this. So by allowing me to pick, you're going to get the best shot at getting what you want. So that's important to note. The next thing to say is that, so how can you buy one of these things? So Sometimes I will have groups of animals that are ready to ship, and you can just, send me an email, send me a direct message, whatever, and say, hey, I'd like a baby ornate or a baby J-Rye or a baby whatever. And I'll say, great, I have them ready to go now. Here's the price. And you can pay that plus shipping and you can get them. Or if the babies have only recently hatched and they're not large enough to ship, what I do is I ask people to put down a 50% deposit, which obviously goes towards the total cost of the animal, and that will reserve an animal for you until they are ready to ship. So this is a great way just to make sure that what I really like about this is a lot of people will put down a reservation and then spend the weeks that follow setting up for their animal and getting ready for it before it comes home. So I think this is a great way of doing it. Really makes me happy. So that's a great way of doing it. Yeah, so that's the gist of it. That's kind of the whole, that's it. And so I wanted to make this video just to share all that with all y'all. Please hit me up via DM or email if you have any questions. I try to respond to comments on, but I don't always, just because there's, I can't keep up with them. So, yeah, I think that's it. Peace out.